Hey, RugbyHub viewers, and welcome back to another Test Rugby weekend, an exciting one at that. You got the world champions playing against the Northern Hemisphere champions in South Africa versus Ireland in a very anticipated match, and some very, very great fixtures between New Zealand and England. You got Wales versus Australia. You got France traveling down to Argentina, and all of them are supposed to be crackers. Gabsy, how are you doing? What have you made between the build-up in this Ireland versus South Africa clash?
Well, I guess the headline, world number one versus world number two, massive game. Really enjoyed this week. Lots of
Mm,
entertainment on social media. And yeah, I think the build-up has been phenomenal with Rassie yet again being the headline, Dr. Erasmus. Being very sarcastic is what I would interpret it as, and making lots of jokes, about
mm.
phone calls with Jock Nienaber and predicting his own match day 23 for the Irish lineup. So, I mean, there's been a lot of, things in the media, lots of kind of entertainment going on. And I guess, some people will interpret it like, oh, Rassie mind games, and others would just laugh about it and, know that, he's just having a bit of a banter, having a bit of a crack. Like Eddie Jones, but probably to
I
another
guess it
level.
really depends on
Um,
how you interpret it, right, Gabsy? I think
exactly.
I think it's so great for the game. It's how they do it in
100%.
America. They spice things up. I think the media is in a frenzy about this game as well. The promotional video that the Springboks put out,
Of course.
or Super Sport or whatever. So this is
I mean,
great. I mean, I
I've also
enjoy it.
seen like many pundits talking about it in a way to say, like, listen, guys, Rassie's joking around. People know that. Don't take him
Yeah,
serious. If you know
yeah.
you've seen his personality by now. If you're going to go and complain about him choosing the team and that it's unsportsmanlike because other coaches also choose teams, but they keep it behind closed doors for themselves, complain
Uh,
about it. But we are here for a good time, not a long time.
yeah.
We're here to chat rugby. We're here to chat world number one versus world number two. A massive game. I mean, Guri, let's quickly talk about some of the key players missing out this weekend. There's quite a few names that, they're not involved. They've been involved in the previous years. Some
Mhm.
players in retirement, some players injured. I
Yeah,
mean, a
so
couple
I
of big
think
names.
Gabsy, okay, for both teams, right? Let's start with world number one, the Springboks. For this one, obviously some retirements. Dwayne Vermeulen, he's now a coach, Coach Dwaynas. Happy birthday to him, by the way. And then some other notable omissions due to injury or due to bans. You got Jasper Wiese, who's currently serving his ban. You got
Lovely.
Damian Willems. He's injured. You got Kanan Moody, which is injured as well.
Steven
Um,
Kitsov.
Stephen Kutsoff. So there's some
Yeah.
notable omissions, but I think the Springboks are very blessed with with a lot of
John
depth,
Clay.
a lot of talent in their team. So I
Yeah.
think they will go into this clash rather confident. It just is depending on how much time they were able to spend together to build these renewed combinations with the youth coming in and the new players.
Yeah.
Um, so
I
yeah.
mean, on that note, I mean, if you look at it, about 20 of the 23 in the match day, they've been involved, as World Cup winners. So
Mm.
I do think it's still a very conservative team, in my opinion, if we just quickly focus on the Springboks and then we transition to Ireland and
But
the
quick
players missing
question
out
then
there.
to you on that, Gabs. Do you think Rassie Erasmus, look, usually after World Cup, you blood in new, younger players, you let them come in, you maybe test a
Yeah,
few new combinations. This team that he selected, doesn't this tell you how badly he wants to win this
100%.
Irish fixture?
No,
Huh?
100%. I mean, there's some of these guys we for sure can know they will not be playing in the next World Cup. But the
Mm.
fact that he's still going with his A side, his base team, being, in my opinion, very
These
conservative
winners,
about
yeah.
like it's basically Sasha coming in, playing for me like the kind of Damien Willemse role,
The
covering
6-2
12,
split role. Yeah.
15, and 10. And then, I mean, you've got basically Oaks shifting into the starting lineup and Steenkamp, who, let's not forget, destroyed these Leinster forwards, or at least the front three from the Bulls. And obviously, you've got Murat coming in for John Klein. So it's really those three players coming in. And I mean, yeah, a guy like Oxen Chair, I think he thoroughly
Oof.
deserves a start.
Yeah, he's had a
He's been
fantastic season.
destroying anything in a scrum. And
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see him up against Furlong again. So let's
Mm.
see how that goes. I mean, for me, one quick talking point, still on this block, well, there's a couple of points we can still talk about. I mean, one big one is Kwagga Smith in the 8 jersey. Lots of names to choose from, you know. I didn't expect Rassie to throw Hanekom directly into the mix,
Yeah,
but
he's
Evan
injured
Roos,
anyways. So
yeah, sure, you got an injury. I
yeah.
forgot about that. But I mean, Evan Roos, I mean, I don't know what Messi has
He's,
sent
he's
out to
he
him.
had a great season with the Stormers. He really showed his maturity as well in not getting into those unnecessary fights or
Exactly.
ill discipline. And also, I think he impressed in that Welsh game. And he's a good mold for the South African
Yeah.
typical number 8. But
Yeah.
Kwagga Smith has got the speed. He's quick around the park. I mean, nobody's complaining about that Kwagga Smith
100%.
selection.
No, 100%. I mean, he's normally a guy you come on at the end, give it 180% for that last 20,
Yeah,
30
his
minutes.
battle stats
But
off the charts.
we we know also Ireland like quick ball, you know, small passes, keeping the game fast. I mean,
Mm,
chips around and whatever. So Kwagga's for me the right player there, and he's been in this box setup. He's played at 8 before multiple
mm.
times. He's
Yeah.
been in the World Cup camp, so I think it's the right choice. Other than that, you know, a couple of exciting combinations, which we all know, like, you
Yeah.
know, having at least the likes of Faf and Andre in there, the
I
center
want to
duo of
pause
the
there
World Cup.
quickly then, because when we played Ireland in the Rugby World Cup, it was notable that kicking to poles was an issue. Moni Lebok obviously kicked some crucial penalties, then went out and overperformed against France with being 100% off the boot. Andre Pollard, when it's clutch time and when you need someone in a tight game to slot that kick, he's your man. And he's
Yeah,
going to be this man at Loftus, where he played 12 years of his rugby for the Bulls. And Sasha Feinberg, Ngoma Zulu, who now played against Wales, the youngster coming in, also has got a massive boot and showed that he can be accurate at test level. So I think Russ is not taking any chances here. I think
no,
Andre,
definitely not.
yeah,
Definitely not.
and
No,
Tony
yeah, for
Brown, the
sure.
new attacking coach, sorry, just to mention, he also talked about Andre Pollard. And in Andre Pollard's early days, how he was probably one of the best fly halves who attacked the gain line and played very
Yeah,
flat and confrontational towards the defense. And he wants to bring that out of Andre again. And I think that's
yeah.
something very exciting to have
No,
one of the
I'm very
best
excited
attacking
to
coaches
see.
in the world
Yeah, very
back.
excited
Yeah.
to see, you know, what Tony Brown is going to do with these boys. I mean, we need to at some point transition to Ireland just to wrap it up here on the box. I mean,
Mm,
obviously having Kurtley, Ola, and Sanchez and Colby on the wings with Billy Leroux, experienced campaigner, lots of comments
yeah.
on him. We're not going to dig into that. He's had a phenomenal season at the Bulls.
With the
Very
Bulls.
excited
Yeah.
to
He's
see
been
him
great.
there. I mean, between him, Faf de Klerk, and Pollard, they're going to make it rain on Osborne. So let's,
Yeah.
on that note, transition to Ireland.
Mm,
I mean, Guri, a couple of key players missing out for Ireland. I mean,
yeah.
Gibson Park, probably arguably one of the best players in the world right now. Just week in, week out performing, phenomenal player. And then
Yeah.
obviously the likes of Sexton into retirement.
Yeah.
You've
I
got
think.
Keenan, I think, on fullback missing. So
Yeah.
there's a couple of key names missing out for them as well, but still a very strong team. I mean, I don't know what you
I
make of
mean,
that Irish team.
Rossi was so close with his with his tweet and his prediction on the team, bar one or two changes. They went for a 5-3 split on their bench, sticking to what they're good at, and that's moving the ball. You mentioned James and Gibson Park. Now that is not a small omission from their squad. I mean, this is the heartbeat of their attack. He dictates the speed at what Ireland play, and that is the key factor that really bothers teams. Is the amount of speed that they can play their very, very fluid attacking style of rugby. So without him there, the second in command would actually be Conor Murray, but he doesn't play that style. He doesn't play that quick rugby. So they brought in Craig Casey, who's not really been tested so much at this level, especially at Loftus against a heavyweight like the Springboks, to come and do that job. And those are big shoes to fill. So he's going to be partnering up with Jack Crowley, who I've been very impressed with, actually. I think he's done very well since the retirement of Sexton. And Hugo Keenan, yeah,
Yeah, he's
being
been
out.
phenomenal.
Hugo
Crowley's been
Keenan being
phenomenal.
out, which is also a very, very big loss for them. And they've got the youngster in Osborne coming in. And you mentioned it. I think Willie Leroux, his ability, his kicking ability against Leinster off that left boot, just and opening up the field with his wide passes to the wingers, I think that's going to cause them some trouble. So I think a big day for him coming up. And then, yeah, actually, Ringrose we thought would be on the outside centre, but they've gone for Robbie Henshaw. So there's still, I mean, this Irish team can put a performance together against any heavyweight and beat anyone in the world. For me, it's
Yeah.
about how are they now? How fit are they? How are they going to cope with the high felts, or rather the altitude? Since I think Leinster didn't really send out too many of their starters throughout the URC season to come play in the high felt or the altitude. So I think it's going to be a big test for them. They definitely have the weapons to do it. Will they be able to do it this time around? I think that's the big question. And then we're set
No,
up
for
for a
sure.
great rematch. Hit
I
me
mean,
with the prediction, Gabsy.
it's going to be a massive game, 100%. I just want to quickly throw it out there, just quickly check the weather. It's going to be a perler at Loftus. A
It's always a
perler.
pearl in Pretoria.
No
Scorching.
rain, nothing. It's not too hot, like a maximum of 22 degrees, a
Yeah,
minimum of 3. I don't think I have to be concerned about that. That's just the evening hours. But it's going to be a beautiful day of rugby. Yeah, altitude matters at Loftus, but also so does the attitude. And I think the team with the right attitude that
also a
shows
great
up on
headline.
will be probably the team that wins this one. World number 1 versus world number 2. I'm going to go
Prediction,
with the
hit
home
me.
team. I'm going to go with the home team. And that is my beloved Springboks. I'm going to say Springboks by 10 to 12 points.
I think that's a great shout. I also think that within the first half, if the Springboks are managed to get 5 points clear or 5 to 10 points clear, I think it could open up some floodgates. But I would in no way say that this is going to be a runaway. I think you cannot run away against this Irish side. They're just too good. So I think the Springboks by 10 to 12 as well. Guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Some of the other games coming up, please let us know what you think about those. I think it's some great rugby on this weekend and a lot to be excited
And
about.
yeah,
Gabsy?
please click on the subscribe button, share with
Oh,
friends
yeah,
and
of course.
family. Please let us know. Lots of international action to come. We appreciate your support and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Gory.
Cheers, Gab.